Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the videos, the paid request, this time for Bronson. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for E.T., the Extra-Terrestrial, which I can't help it. Anytime I see this, I always think of that Cheech and Chong movie where it's like, Eddie Torres, the Extra-Testicle. I think it was like Cheech and Chong still smoking or something. I think it's the one where they went to Amsterdam, and like Cheech is trying to seduce someone, and then like they think they're gonna make a porno. Eddie Torres, the Extra-Testicle. Da, 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 da. I don't. You didn't think an ET review would start off like that, but I mean, what can be said about ET that has been said a dozen times? When it came out, Steven Spielberg, following the success of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Raiders of the Lost Ark, got this made. Now, if you understand, at first he wanted to make this film called Night Skies. Night Skies was going to be much more of a horror, darker film. It kind of sounded like what Critters was turned out to be, because there's a farmhouse, and you have a bunch of aliens going after this one family, and they're eating the livestock. Or maybe a bit of what Gremlins would be, because you have the one good one and the other bad ones here. There was going to be a good one, I think, called Buddy, that would be like friendly to an autistic kid. But then the others would be much more evil, much more monstrous. And this is when my friend Mike OCP and me would always call Steven Spielberg, not Steven Spielberg. That story is, I'm probably going to make that the thumbnail, actually. People are like, what the hell's the thumbnail? The thumbnail is, on the left, that's what Rick Baker had made for Night Skies. He was going to make that creature, and that's what the creature is going to look like. But then in the middle of Raiders of the Lost Ark, Spielberg changed his mind and said, I actually want to make a lighter film. And he would talk about how, you know, he had like an imaginary friend when he was a kid, and he actually wants to make just a movie about a kid befriending a friendly alien and all this other stuff. So it goes in the Rick Baker, and Rick Baker's like, well, I made all this, and it costs all this money, and I can't change it at the last minute, and I also have other movies I need to get to, and what's the deal here? So apparently Steven Spielberg got pissed and took Rick Baker's stuff, including his designs. So then you get the Carlo Rambaldi, and if you look at E.T., if you cut the top part of the head, it's kind of what Rick Baker had. A little bit warmer eyes, a little bit warmer mouth. Cut the top part of the half, you get the right part, which is more like E.T. I'm like, oh. And that's the film Carlo Rambaldi won an Oscar for Best Makeup Effects. And I'm like, that design wasn't 100% yours, and no one gave Rick Baker credit for it. But hey. I guess maybe something was patched up, because Rick Baker worked on Men in Black, which Steven Spielberg produced. Or is that your producer or something? But, I don't know. So again, my friend Mike and I would call him Steven Spielberg. But anyway. It's funny, when this film came out, it was like a huge hit. It was like the biggest movie. It was nominated for Best Picture. It lost to, I think, Gandhi. And critically acclaimed. I'd grant even nowadays, if you see on IMDb and other stuff, people still like the movie. But it's funny, like, I would talk to friends on YouTube, it was like, I was the only one that didn't mind it. Like, I know my friend Effrey, he does not like the film. I don't know how Mike's thoughts are. But I remember it was like a lot more people seemed to dislike the film, which I don't blame them. Like, it's not a favorite of mine for Spielberg's, but I do like the movie. I do. I like the film. I do think it's well directed. I really particularly like the lighting of the film, especially in the early scenes when Elliott is going to his backyard and you see little bits of E.T. and you see E.T.'s hand put down the Reese's Pieces and then Elliott leading him into the house. Like the way that's all lit, I think is underappreciated. People don't really talk about the lighting of the film, but I think that is a important aspect to it. I do think John Williams does a good job with the musical score. I do like the look of E.T. I like the practical effects. The cast, Henry Thomas as Elliott. I don't mind the guy that plays his older brother. He doesn't have a whole lot to him in terms of depth or anything. But there's a couple moments I did chuckle, like when they find out he's alive and he's excited, he jumps and he bumps his head. That did make me laugh. Dee Wallace is the mom, which funny enough she would be the mom in Critters. C. Thomas Howell is one of the older brother's friends. Peter Coyote as one of the adults. It was interesting the way Spielberg directed it, where pretty much other than Dee Wallace, all the other adults, you didn't really see their face. I just try to be from a kid's perspective and make the adults seem much more looming and dangerous. Even though they don't really, well, at first it doesn't seem like they're doing anything dangerous. I mean, they're just looking around, investigating, as anyone would. Granted, they do break into their home when they're not home. People like when E.T., like they're trying to help them, but they're trying to, Spielberg's trying to show it from a kid's perspective where they're doing CPR, but it seems like they're hurting him. Like when you watch it, like Peter Coyote, who's like one of the few adults we actually get to see face-wise and stuff, he's not a bad guy. He really doesn't do anything bad. I mean, there's not a lot to his character depth-wise. Like, you don't really get to know much of his character, which I guess is not the kind of stories tell him, but you just get the vibe that he's a decent guy. He talks to Henry Thomas. He's not talking down to him. He's not being disingenuous. So I like they didn't make him a one-dimensional, stereotypical bad guy. I do like and appreciate that. It is one of those films I think I saw a decent amount when I was a kid. But at the same time, I saw it enough times I never needed to see it again. One of those weird feelings, which I don't know quite how to say as to why. I don't know if that means I outgrew the film, or it just is other films I would rather watch. Because it is a well-made movie from the beginning. I forgot how much of a quiet, creepy store it begins with John Williams. Like when the title comes up, it's much more of an eerie store to open up the film, which I'm like, okay, that's an interesting choice. Don't mind the wide shots of San Fernando Valley. The family unit, again, you have Henry Thomas, you have his older brother, you have the younger sister, Drew Barrymore, you have the mom, who's single, and she's trying to do the best that she can. I will admit, Henry Thomas's character, at times, I was annoyed by him. I do think he did a decent job, but there were times I was annoyed by him. Like, he didn't mean it, but he makes his mom feel bad. Like, dad's in Mexico, and you tell the older brother's like, I'm going to kill you, because you made our mom sad. But then he's not regretful. He doesn't try to apologize. He doesn't say, I'm sorry. He just takes his food to the sink and lets it, just worries about his own stuff. What did I see? I mean, granted, yeah, he saw what he thought was a creature, so I get that that would be more apparent in your mind, but it still made your mom feel bad. You didn't do anything to fix it, you little twerp. And sometimes his yelling, his screaming, it's like, oh, God, shut up. Drew Barrymore, I thought Drew Barrymore did well as the younger sister. She definitely had a cute factor in terms of being wholesome and not being too annoying or irritating. Like I said, the older brother was fine. He just didn't really have much of anything to do in terms of a character other than, like I said, there's not much you to describe him other than he's playful. Like when Henry Thomas first shows him E.T. Well, turn around. It's okay, fine. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna kill you. Some stuff I noticed watching it in when Henry Thomas lures E.T. into his room. I get that it's late at night, but I find it funny that the first thing he does is fall asleep. I get that it's tired and it's late at night, but it's not like he's been awake days. It seems like it's just his normal sleep pattern. And I'm sorry, I don't care how old I am. If I see an alien and I let it to my room, I'm not sleeping till next week. Or at least until 3 days from now. At least 2 days. At least 2 days from now. He falls asleep with an alien right there. You better be glad he wasn't faking it. And then E.T. came up and chopped his head off. Also, I find it funny that when the adults find the Reese's Pieces, you see the hand pick it up and then you hear a crunch. And I'm sitting there going, this dirty ass ate a Reese's Pieces from the ground. Like from the woods. You don't know if animals went by and pissed on it or something. Like, this is on the ground from the dirt. I love, okay, my favorite thing is Skittles. I'm not eating it if it's in the dirt. I don't care how much of a pile there is. Unless I eat it and there's a pile of gold underneath, okay, but I'm not eating any candy from the ground. And also, why would you eat it? Like, you can't recognize it's Reese's Pieces, you gotta eat it? If you're that hungry, man, go to McDonald's. Or something. Dirty ass eating Reese's from the ground. When the kid shows E.T. the toys, I always remember that was referenced in later in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. When she's showing Chop Top all this stuff, it's like when the kid shows E.T. this stuff. And the stuff Henry Thomas shows, some Star Wars toys, Greedo, Lando Calrissian, and Boba Fett. Of course, his nod to the George Lucas, who he worked with on Raiders of the Lost Ark. Another thing I noticed is when they went to school, and one of the older brother's buddies keeps calling Henry Thomas Centus Supremus. What the hell does that mean? What the hell is a Centus Supremus? I know sometimes they make up insults, but at least there's something familiar like dweeb or dork or dorkzilla, dweebosaurus. Okay, dweeb, dork, you get. What is Centus Supremus? What the hell is I even trying to be? A bid Centus? Centipede? Santa Carla? Centus, what the hell is that supposed to mean? So weird. Dee Wallace character needs glasses because if the scene where she looks through the room and sees all the stuffed animals and there's E.T.'s head, you see how all the stuffed animals look like, and then you see how E.T. looks. Why you would think that would be a stuffed animal, I don't know. Like, what toy do you think that is? And wouldn't you remember what the hell you bought for your kid? What's this ugly looking grapefruit? When Elliott's finger gets hurt out with the the lighted finger, all I think is Moon River. Don't sit there where the sun don't shine. Including your own, E.T. Don't be probing. You make your prostate light up. But as I'm watching the film, I'm sitting there going, like I said, I admire the filmmaking. I don't mind most of the actors. I like the lighting, the musical score, the practical effects by E.T. I probably don't feel as strongly about this as when I did as a kid compared to a lot of other movies. Even like Spielberg, I would, for me, the first four Indiana Jones films, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Jurassic Park, Jaws. There's a lot more I would put above this. But it's not that I think it's bad, it's just maybe I think there's not all the scenes work. Like the whole thing where then E.T.'s like psychic with the kid, and I'm sitting there going, well, why is E.T. psychic with the kid? And you could come up with all these theories about how E.T. he lives when the other E.T.s are nearby, and they kind of have some hive mind type of thing, maybe. And so he's got to latch on to the kid, maybe, as well as the flowers that bloom and stuff. And then that's why, because E.T. is dying later because he's been away from them for so long. And I think if you read the novelization, you get the idea that when him and the kid are dying, he cuts off the link so Elliott will be fine, even if he himself dies. I think that's in a novelization. But this is all like you have to figure it out, because the movie doesn't tell you really any of this. I just really, most people didn't care. But I mean, the whole. And it tries to set that up with school with when E.T. drinks, the kid gets drunk. When E.T. does or thinks something, it makes Elliott free all the frogs. When E.T. watches, I think it was like a John Wayne movie with the wind and grabbing. Elliott starts doing it. And I'm sitting there going, this just seems like a scene that comes out of almost out of nowhere, and I don't know if it really fits with the rest of the movie. And it, like, you could cut all this out and you wouldn't miss anything. I always thought it was weird, like when that happens, this one kid like dives just so Elliot can climb on him and kiss this girl. I'm like, who is that kid? Did he just fall and Elliot just stepped on him? Or did he go, hey, that guy gonna kiss that girl, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna be your step stool. I will be your step stool. I will be your fire. Sounds like a, I don't know. Sounds like a song. Till the end of time. I don't know, it's just a weird scene. Just a weird scene, watch it again. Like, guy purposely went on the ground to be the step stool. And who is this girl? Did we even see this girl before? And did we ever see this girl after? No. Just some random girl he kissed because E.T. saw it in the movie. Now it'd be canceled. It'd be sexual harassment. There's the Halloween season where he's in a costume. I do kind of laugh at the fact that he sees someone dressed up as Yoda and goes towards Yoda. I'm like, we did Spielberg. You like your buddy George Lucas's Star Wars. Of course, there's the scenes, the bike flying, and you see the moon, which became pretty much the symbol of Emblem Entertainment. They used that scene for their logo. E.T. saying home phone. Now, he does say phone home quite a few times. I know some people thought that was the Mandela effect. He never says phone home. No, he does say home phone, but there's many times in the film he says phone home as well, so that's why people think of phone home, because of the 50 other times E.T. said it. Home phone, home phone. But then, after E.T. is resuscitated, or he's alive, say, phone home, home phone, phone home, home phone, phone home, phone home, phone home. He like says it again, and that's why people remember phone home. So it's not a Mandela effect. And that's when the bike ride and they set up the stuff, the phone home. And then, like, you see E.T. on the ground looking like a cokehead. He OD'd. That's where you get the government coming in. And, like, you see that they're trying to help. And, like, what else are they going to do? They see, looks like a dying alien. They're trying to do whatever they can to help it. The kid's like, you're killing him. They didn't do anything. He was found. It's like, hey, kid, he was albino when we found him. We ain't doing shit. Shut up, kid. But it does create, emotions. You're seeing this character seemingly die and the kid saying stay. And then when his heart is warming up, it goes back. It's in some nice practical effects. Yes, I did watch the original version. I didn't watch the version where they changed the guns into walkie-talkies. But even Steven Spielberg regretted that, and then when it was reissued again, he changed it back. I guess he thought, I'll do the George Lucas special edition treatment, some CGI ET, then changing guns into walkie-talkies. But unlike George, at least he knew that was the wrong idea, and he went back, and now whenever you see the film, it's in the unaltered version. So, I wish George Lucas would have done that. That's why I give at least a little bit more respect to Steven Spielberg. Should I have stolen Rick Baker's stuff, but I give him at least a little bit more respect compared to George Lucas. Because Spielberg, number one, is a good director. Schindler's List is a well-made movie. My favorite of his is either Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then Jaws. But, the Indiana Jones... He's a much better director. He has more good films than George Lucas does. Then you had the bike chase at the end. Now, the governments have guns. I'm sitting there going, are we thinking they're going to shoot the kids? Like, with all these guns they have? Are you going to shoot the kids? Shoot their bike? That would be great on the news. What happened? These 5 kids were shot to death by government agents. What were they doing? They're riding their bicycles. Must have been some bad bikes. But, I mean, despite all that I'm saying, the way I'm describing the film, when you get to the end, E.T. says goodbye to the kid, and they hug, and E.T. says, I'll be right here, and John Williams' music soars. Do-do-do, do-do-do. And the E.T. ship goes by, and you see Henry Thomas's face, and it cuts to black. That's a nice piece of movie magic. I don't know how else to put it. It's a nice piece of movie magic. I could do without the ship creating a rainbow. That's a bit much. It's like, it's good enough. You don't need to create a damn rainbow. That's a bit too sugary, sweet, sappy type of thing. And maybe that's the thing, like the kids and the characters are not that developed, and it does have a sweet sentimentality that maybe as you grow older, you're a little bit more cynical, so you're a little bit more less tolerable on that. I know a lot of people were scared of E.T. I was never scared of E.T. I do like the design. I do like the look. I think the practical effects are well done. Like I said, I do like the score by John Williams and the cast, the way it's lit. Again, the bike scene where you see the moon. Granted, if the moon's that big, we're in trouble. Like, that's the funny thing. When he goes by on the bike, the moon's like this big. If the moon is that big next to us, we're dead. we're fucked. We're dead. We're dead. Does that mean the moon's going to collide with the Earth? I remember that being in the poster, too. Again, I'm like, I don't know if I'll see this. If the moon is that close to us, we're dead. Calling Roland Emmerich. It's a extinction level event. It's Moonfall. But yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, shit, we're dead. But yeah, that's one of those things where I'm sitting there going, we are dead. We're dead as fuck. But yeah, that's one of those things where it works for the movie, but if you think about it, you're like, what the hell? Why is the moon that close to us? So I guess it depends. As you get older, maybe the magic lusters a bit, but there's still a bit of it there, and I still think it is a good film. It's not a film I rewatch much. It's not a film I put in my top 100. It's not my... If I did a top 10 Spielberg films, like I said, right, the 4 Indiana Jones, Jaws, Jurassic Park would all be on there. Close Encounters of the Third Kind would be on there. Let me look real quick. Would this be in my top 10 Spielberg? Let me look. He's directed over 60 films. Let me check. Let's see. Duel would be on there, my top 10. Jaws would be on there. Close Encounters would be on there. The 4 Raiders, Indiana Jones films would be on there. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. That's already 7. Jurassic Park would be on there. 8. I would say I like this more than Ready Player One. From what little I remember, I like this more than the BFG. The Bid Friendly Giant, not the one from Doom. I probably would say I like Minority Report more than this, and same with War of the Worlds. I probably would say maybe. Saving Private Ryan, I would put above this. I like this more than The Lost World Jurassic Part 2. I do like this more than Hook. I like this more than The Color Purple. If it does, it might be at the very tail end. It might be at the very tail end. It might reach the top 10. Maybe. Because I do think it's the way they do it's a lovable creature. I think it was the right decision to keep it in low lighting to begin with, to tease the audience until more of the reveal. Is it interesting that the adults, you don't really see them, and it makes them much more of a threat, even though they're not really doing anything too threatening until, they're chasing the kids at the end. Interesting, Harrison Ford had a scene in this. It was deleted. He played the principal, and they deleted it. This made sense because he got Harrison Ford so we could hear his voice, but we don't see him. And, you didn't really need the scene, but you can find it on YouTube. Overall, I would say, I liked the film. I like it for what it was. There's definitely still a bit of movie magic there. And it's still a good film. Not a perfect film. There's definitely other films that year I enjoy more. John Carpenter's The Thing. Which, it's not that film's it's not this film's fault The Thing bombed. E.T. was going to do what E.T. was going to do. Blame the audiences for not giving The Thing a chance. So blame the audiences at that time for not going to theater and supporting it. That's who I blame more. The critics. But anyway, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.